How's it going, guys? I'm CTM Amygdala, and welcome back to another Call of Duty Warzone video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything brand new in Warzone this season, which is going to include the new map changes, the new weapons in the game, all the way to the weapon adjustments and everything down in the patch notes. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to click that like button and also don't forget to subscribe. So I do want to start off by saying that I did kind of a rundown of the whole entire battle pass in yesterday's video, so I'm not going to include that in this one's again, because that's going to take up around 10 minutes, and I'd rather get in and show you guys the meat of the in-game Warzone stuff. However, the Tier 100 skin does look really sick this season, so I'm going to go ahead and just show that one off. So we've got that one all the way up here. And we see it's an iridescent jackal skin, so it's kind of got this green glowing hue. And if you complete challenges after unlocking the skin, you can actually get him in a blue variation and a golden variation, which I showed off both in my video yesterday as well, which will be linked in the description below. Right, so before we actually go into the game and start looking at all the new things on the Warzone map, I'm going to go over some of the patch notes. So to start off, we've actually got a skin adjustment for Roze once again. So I'm going to go take a look at that to see if it's any different. So her Rook skin is supposed to be more gray in game, and I might actually show that off. I can't tell much here, but I'm going to see if there is a difference actually in game when I'm looking at other people's Roze skins. But from the in-game menu, it still looks just as dark, but I'll have to see if they actually did something with that this time. So now they also adjusted some of the weapons. So essentially for this, for the AMAX, they decreased the upper torso damage from 1.2 to 1.1. So it's going to be a little bit less effective unless you're getting headshots still. They also increased the Groza. I'm not going to go into specifics, but I'm just going to kind of mention if they've been buffed or nerfed from here. Because still with this, a lot of these guns aren't really meta. I'm still using the PKM and the MAC-10, and both of those have not been touched. But if you are using the AMAX, you might see a little bit of a nerf. And one of the new weapons is actually what a lot of people are considering the best weapon in the game right now. I'm going to be getting into that a little bit later. However, they buffed the Groza. They buffed the Modern Warfare Scar. They buffed the XM4. They buffed the AMP, the ballistic knife. They nerfed the street sweeper, so they made that gun worse. They buffed sniper rifle Charlie. I think that's like the M82. I think that's the M82. I don't remember if that's its exact name or not. But they also buffed the Swiss, the AUG from Modern Warfare, the Bullfrog from Cold War, the KSP from Cold War, the Milano from Cold War, and the Bison from Modern Warfare. So all those guns have received a slight buff. However, I still don't think any of them are as good for the close range meta as the MAC-10 is. I'm still going to be running that MAC-10 as my secondary. And then for the primary, I would still stick with either the PKM or that new LMG that I'm going to be talking about here in a second. So now on top of that, they also added some general stuff in there, like general quality of life improvements. So for these, what they did was they made it so downed players or people who are in a finishing move animation that disconnect will now actually count kill credit, and also their loot will drop on the floor. So you'll be able to get the kills and the loot from players that disconnect while they're already down or they're in the middle of being executed. They also increase the font size of progression challenges. So if you go over to the challenge barrack, so it looks like they just kind of made these easier to read, even though it looks to me like they're still pretty small. But I guess they updated them a little bit. On top of that, they said that they also decreased the spawn rate for self-revives. They also made it so the starting pistol will actually take 3 melee hits instead of 2 to prevent people from just coming down and start whacking people as soon as they land, and to try and engage more of a firefight where people are going pistol versus just trying to whip each other. And then on top of that, they actually buffed the snapshot grenades. So the snapshot grenade now has a reveal duration increased from 1.25 seconds to 2 seconds. And hit enemies are also shown to your squad as well. So if you throw a snapshot grenade, that player will light up for every single person on your team. They also mentioned some stuff about specialist tokens coming back possibly later in season or with season 5. So we're going to have to be on the lookout for that, but they did say that it's going to be a little bit harder to obtain this time rather than just going into the vault. So the next thing that we have here is a new event called Groundfall. And for completing it, you get this handgun right here, which is for the Magnum. And I've heard it doesn't look that good with mastery camos, but it does look pretty good by itself. Personally, it's not a gun that I'm going to be using, so I'm not going for this. However, if you do think this is cool and you like using the Magnums, go ahead. The challenges are pretty easy. Essentially, all you have to do in Warzone is secure 5 uplink stations, eliminate 10 enemies while they're near an active uplink station, and then collect 3 rewards from crashed satellites. So that seems pretty easy. I don't actually know how to do any of that. I'll have to look into that. But that's going to be how to get the reward for the Groundfall event. Alright guys, so we also actually have 3 brand new weapons. The first one I'm going to cover is going to be the nail gun, which you can see on screen right here. And there's also a bundle for it in the store, which gives you a little bit of a closer look at it. And this gun's pretty good. I haven't unlocked it yet. I'm probably going to go ahead and do that tomorrow or within the next couple of days. But this is going to be an SMG, and it does shoot nails, and it has a fairly small magazine with only 20 in the round. Now, we also got a new assault rifle, and this is going to be unlocked at tier 31 in the battle pass. And this is a slower firing assault rifle that's kind of like the AK-47, except it has a little bit less recoil to it. So it's got faster bullet velocity and lower recoil than the AK-47, but it's also got a very slow fire rate and high damage. So this is probably going to be on par, if not better, with the AK-47, but very, very similar. And then the last gun that we got, which is actually the really, really good one, is going to be the MG82 LMG. This thing is overpowered, and the developers have already said that they're looking at nerfing it. And essentially what makes this gun so good is that it has a very high fire rate, very high damage, and no recoil at all. So it's just an absolute laser beam, and it deletes people quicker than any other gun in the game as of right now. So definitely try to get your hands on this and try it out before it takes the hitting. So talking about map changes, so we've actually got our first one right here in the pregame lobby that we can go check out. So there's actually a satellite that fell right here where the firehouse is, right outside of downtown, between downtown and Promenade. And there is loot inside the satellite, and you can actually get a challenge that allows you to get either an advanced UAV or an armored truck out of that crashed satellite in between downtown and Promenade. So the next change that I'm going to cover when it comes to Warzone is the new vehicle. So we now have a motorcycle, and this thing's pretty good. It fits 2 players, and you can throw a trophy system on it, but you have to climb on top and drop it down on top of it like this. And it's very easy to get killed while on this. I've shot people off of them a whole lot since the season came out. And you can also get run over on it by other vehicles. So it's really not that good, but it is really quick. And you can kind of drift with it and stuff too. However, I personally don't see myself using this too often unless I'm like really in a hurry. And let's see if I can do something other than crash into walls. Alright, right off the side of the map. Alright, so now we're here in the new Gulag, and as we can see, they changed it up quite a bit. This is now a recreation of the multiplayer map Hijacked from Black Ops 2, except it's cardboard themed to fit the Gulag style. So you've got the jacuzzi on this side, the little house on this side. If you've played the map, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're probably very familiar with this layout with the 2 main houses on the back sides. Alright, so I might actually choke this one up. Oh, I hit him there. Alright guys, so we actually did end up losing our Gulag, but that is okay because we are now in Plunder, and I'm going to go around and show you guys the remaining map changes that have occurred in Verdansk. So along with the new crash site that is down by downtown, there's also another crash site out by farmland in the fields. So that's where I'm actually heading to right now. And the main map changes are actually 4 crash sites, and at all 4 of these crash sites you can get a advanced UAV or an armored truck, and it's completely random, you don't get to choose. But after this crash site, I'll go through and show you guys the other 2 crash sites. One's kind of up near Quarry, and the other one was kind of by the ATC tower, like I think this is it right here, exactly on my ping. But as we can see, here's the one out by farmland. And I kind of want to see if they have any loot or stuff here. You can see it's all on fire still. So I'm not sure if you can. I'm going to have to look into how to get the advanced UAV. Oh, here it is. Wait, no, that's not it at all. Just kidding. So this is going to be the second crash site, and I'm now going to go head over to the third one. Yeah, it looks like the next crash site is going to be right down here. Pulling the wheelie. Alright. So let's look around here a little bit. So it does look like there's quite a few loot boxes at these new crash site locations. So I guess it's a decent place to drop if you're playing solos and stuff. You've got floor loot, and there's generally pretty good loot here as well. There's a higher chance of getting like drops like this, like an armor box or a muni box. Of a much higher chance of getting like orange guns and stuff, as well as just orange crates in general at these. I swear they like nerfed slide canceling. I feel like I just crouch half the time I try and slide. Alright, so up ahead we can see the final crash site location. That damn slide cancel is super messing with me, and I don't know why. I've never been this bad at it. They definitely nerfed it in this last update, 100%. So here's the final one. And like I said, you can get challenges and advanced UAVs and stuff from these in the standard game modes. And I believe this is actually the brand new LMG, so we might as well take a look at this in game as well. Alright, this thing has a lot of recoil. I have no clue what people were talking about. Maybe if you kit it out differently, it can really control the recoil on it. But from this version of it, just not holding it down at all, it just goes straight up. I suppose if you're trying to control it, it is pretty controllable though. So it's fairly easy to control, but it does have a lot of recoil. Alright guys, and then last but not least, we've got these new things called red doors, which will either teleport you to a secret room with really good items in it, or it'll teleport you to another area across the map. And there's currently 12 of these in the game as of right now. I'm going to go show you guys one of them, but it's going to take a long time to go through and find all 12 of them. So I'm just going to leave you with the one that I do already know, and then I'll have a separate video coming out within the next couple of days showing all 12 locations. So the first location that we know we have is actually in this building right here on the mining facilities to the side of the map.
All right, lads, let's get it done.
And this door right here, which doesn't actually look like a door right now, but that is possibly one of your 12 red door locations. And if the door does spawn here, you're able to walk right into it and it'll teleport you to another part of the map. Now, as we can see here, not all 12 of the doors will spawn every game. I believe it's about 4 of them. 4 of these 12 locations will spawn each game, and you can teleport between those 4 locations. However, there's 12 total, so if you play 3 different games, you might have 4 different red door spawns in all of your games. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.